Right, so the automatic watering system doesn't necessarily start with this, but this is one of the key components. It's a plug-in outdoor smart switch that's Z-Wave enabled. Z-Wave is a pretty common home automation platform here. It's made by GE, got it off Amazon. So paperwork, and this is what it looks like. Doesn't look like anything too special, but there's an on-off button here. And if you have a home automation hub like Wink or SmartThings, then you can actually just tie this to it. The other thing is that it's Amazon Echo enabled, and that's what I actually use to trigger this thing. So that's the box. That's actually it in reality. So I have that running off of a switch there, and it's running to a pond pump. So here's the reservoir that I'm using. It's a Rubbermaid food grade tub, and made a couple mods to it so that it reduces the amount of evaporation. So that's just a little cutting tiny holes into it so that it can actually allow me to check on the progress here. But lifting it out, all you see here is some water. So you just got to fill the reservoir once in a while based on what your usage is. But inside there you can see a Pond Master pump, and that's hooked up to that switch up on the deck there that you see. So really simple. It's just a Rainbird system here, tubing that you can get from any hardware store or online. It's just a polyethylene tube here that you can actually stick in little branches off of it, and I'll show that part of it. All right, so here we go. This is the off of the major tube. You got these emitters right here, drip emitters. These are also for sale online as part of the Rainbird kit, but the different colors of the emitters determines how much flow per hour. So I believe these blue ones are ½ a gallon per hour. So if this thing ran for a full hour, that's what you would get through here. So you can see how I just split it through. You just push those into that original hose, and then you can offshoot it to wherever it needs to go. On top of that, what you see here is actually a holder so that you can actually direct the flow. And that's all that's going to happen there, and it'll actually concentrate the flow to wherever you need it to go, which is great for plants that don't want to be too wet. It's just going to keep the water where it should be. You don't want any kind of root rot coming from water logging the plant, especially for plants like these. These are lemon and lime trees. So I'm going to click it on, and we'll see how the emitter, you can see it kind of roar to action. You can hear the actual pump buzzing in the background, and now it's starting to pump water through the pipe, which is going to eventually trickle through this. Now if you have multiple emitters on there of different flow rates, like these are the ½ gallons, but I also have a whole bunch of 1 gallons on here for different types of plants like tomatoes and cucumbers. But for this, you're going to see it slowly start to dial in and drip any minute now once the pressure regulates. But that's basically it. So it's an outdoor switch that's just going to turn on and off the pump. That allows you to have more mobility in terms of where it is. And then all it's going to do is just, once the pressure regulates, it's going to push that water through, and it's going to trickle flow out of here. Here we go. Drip, 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 drip. So this one, like I mentioned, is going to push about ½ a gallon of water per hour. So you can see here that the other one's running. You can see here that the third one's running. This one's the higher flow one. This is the 1 gallon, so you can see it dripping more often. So as I had mentioned, you can operate this with Alexa by setting it up with an IFT trigger. Just say, Alexa, trigger water. And that'll actually start the water to be on, and you can say, trigger water off, and it'll turn it off. And all it's doing is controlling the switch, the electric switch. So you can do this with almost anything that you can imagine that you can plug in outside. This would also work indoors too. We travel quite a bit, and so it's always important for us to be able to water our plants on hot days without it dying and being able to be independent of having to ask other folks. So it's a 50-60 gallon wet reservoir, so we can basically water things fairly well for a good 3 to 5 days, no problem. If you had a bigger reservoir, well, there's pretty much unlimited watering that you can do. That's pretty much it. So it's served us well. The other thing is you can put it on a schedule. So for plants that actually really need to be watered every time, on time, and not allowed to dry in between, like mint or basil or tomatoes, it's actually great to run it on a schedule. You can run at 5 in the morning before the sun comes up, and then again after the sun sets at 7. It's a perfect way to keep the plants perfectly watered. And that's it.